Good evening, all of us.
Good evening, Mwalimu.
Great. That's the Mwalimu is very audible. That is to say, Mwalimu is very, very audible. So, a moment here. Great. Okay, so yeah, welcome to our first class, financial reporting and analysis, of course, this semester. As the rest are joining, you'll find that, as always, our first case introducing a unit, it is upon us to go through the whole concept, what is expected, and how should we be prepared when it comes to, of course, the whole of these concepts. So as we are starting our first class, one thing that I want us to perceive, and this will always be our mentality all through the sessions that we'll be doing for any course, of course, this semester. The first case or the first mentality that I want us to set as you're starting is all about learning. Okay? At this point, our focus is learning. And when you hear about learning, the whole idea is for us to be able to understand the concepts right. So focus is not only exams, but focus is for us to be able to understand the whole concept, of course, of what we'll be covering, so that it shouldn't be a case of we're just doing these exams. No, the focus is very different. What we are doing is that we want to do it, of course, for the purpose of understanding the concept. And with that, of course, welcome to this semester. So our case, these are what we'll be focusing on, most of the cases. The other thing that I want us to have in mind is that because our aspiration is to learn, this is what I want us to have in mind, that in our class, you are allowed, of course, to unmute whenever you're having a question. Then you ask a question. That is, of course, if at all you are in an environment that won't disturb the rest. So asking question is very much allowed, and we normally prefer asking through what? Voice, not text. You just unmute and you ask a question. So as we are looking at financial reporting, what would we be expected to have? You'll find that an overview of financial reporting, number one, this is a very interesting paper. Why? Because it is a statement paper. And when you're talking about being a statement paper, that is to say that it is very easy. Yeah, we won't expect a lot of complication in this. Financial reporting, it is a statement paper. And being a statement paper, you'll find that it is statement papers, of course, they are always the easiest paper that you can always tend to handle when it comes to this professional course. The reason why Mwalimu is saying it is simple to handle, because all that will be required to have is what? Understanding the concept right and preparing the format the way they are supposed to be. And the most beautiful part is that the formats will never change. You see, income statement, it is just in that income statement. If I told you about SFP, it is just the normal SFP. If I told you about cash flows, it is the normal cash flows that you guys know about. So that's the most beautiful part whenever you read about what? Statement paper. So as we are approaching it, number one mentality, we are learning. Number two mentality is that financial reporting is one of the easiest paper that you can have. So because it is a statement paper. Yeah, because it is a statement paper. So these are the focus, and these are the mentality that I want us to set in as we are starting this first class. Looking at it, what are you seeing here? We're having two parts. We're having the part of financial reporting, and you're having the part of analysis. You see? We have financial reporting and analysis. That is to say that at this point, this paper is divided into two. It is divided into the part of analysis, and of course, the other part is what? The other part is reporting. And that is what allows us, of course, to do what? That's what allows us to discuss today. Like, we look at the component of what will we be expected to cover under the analysis part, and what will we be expected to cover under the reporting part. So, having this in mind, let's see. We have the financial reporting part of it. We have the financial reporting part of it. The financial reporting part of it. And again, you'll also realize that in a FAR, at this point, we don't have so many topics. Very few topics. There are very, very, very few topics. We don't have a lot of topics here. Very, very few topics that will be expected, of course, to understand at this point. You don't have, of course, many topics. And looking at it in this case, I want us, of course, to start by considering the topics that will be expected to cover, of course. I want us to consider the topics that will be expected to cover. Of course, the first class is always about overview and what will be expected to cover, okay? So we have, so far, in financial reporting and analysis, the whole bit contains only 7 topics. Only 7 topics. And I'm going to give you the best strategy that you can use so that we can cover all these topics before time and also prepare for our examinations. Topic number 1. At this point, you'll be taken back to what you did at your basic level. Yeah, the examiner will take you back on what you did in financial accounting, only with an additional elements of 1 or 2 things there, here and there. See? So topic number 1 is all about accounting for assets and liabilities. Topic number 1, talk about accounting for assets and liabilities. Accounting for assets and liabilities. I know whenever we read about assets and liabilities, at this point, when we read about assets, I believe you know very well what assets entails. When we read about liabilities, you know very well what liabilities entails. If at all you don't know, that's why Mwalimu is here. Mwalimu will remind us of what this entails, yeah? Topic number 2, what will you be expected to cover here, my good students? Topic number 2 will be expected to cover a very interesting area, and this is what? Accounting for specialized transactions. Accounting for specialized transactions. Accounting for specialized transactions. These are what will be expected to cover in topic number 2. What about these specialized transactions? Maybe one will ask, what are these specialized transactions that you're talking about here? You'll find that the specialized transactions that we're about here are the concepts that we normally talk about, the aspect of borrowing costs. There's a very good question which was tested in December about the concept of borrowing costs. See, so these are some of the elements that will always be expected to look at under this point. Of course, the aspect of hire purchase. See, these are the specialized transactions that we normally tend to talk about. We are still under financial reporting. What about topic number 3? What will you be expected to cover here? Topic number 3, my good students, the whole bit is a preparation of financial statements. This is, of course, a preparation of financial statements, yeah, for different entities. For different entities. FS simply means financial statements. So it's about preparation of financial statements for different entities. And what are these different entities that we read about? At this point, you'll find that we read about conversion of partnership into limited company. See? At this point, we'll also be talking about the concept of such elements, of course, to do with pension plans, agriculture, professional firms. These are different entities that we are looking at. And for our sake or our case, you'll find that this is amongst the longest topic. I'm marking it with an asterisk, indicating that it is amongst the longest topic that will be expected to have at this level of financial reporting. And one interesting part is that now, for the purpose of exams, you will never miss a question in topic number 3. It must always be tested. You never miss a question in topic number 3, making it one of the most important topics that, again, we must be able to analyze and understand very well. Okay? Yeah. That should take us to topic number 4, where topic number 4, at this point, talking over topic number 4, we are talking about, of course, the preparation of published financial statements. Preparation of published financial statements. Of course, during this period is when you are going to get a lot of companies which have published, of course, their books in the dailies. And whatever that is happening, of course, practically, it is what you are going to study here. These are where we are going to form that basis. So it is important to ask ourselves, and that question that Mwalimu was stated, that whatever that you are handling here, it is more of knowledge than just exams. It is more of knowledge than just exams. So that is very important for us to note. And another thing that you should also be able to understand here, remember when we read about cash flows initially, it was being tested under consolidation. But right now, whenever we read about cash flows by the way will also fall here. Cash flows will fall under the case of what? Under the case of published financial statements. Cash flows, accounting for cash flows will fall here. It is not under consolidated. Now it is what? Under published financial statements. After that should take us to topic number 5. Topic number 5, of course, we know very well that this is an area that whenever you read about a FAR, one thing that will always come at the back of your mind, it is this topic. It is this topic where we read about what? Accounting and financial statements. Accounting and financial statements for interest in other entities. For interest in other entities. For interest in other entities. So when we hear about this topic, it is a common topic that we all know what we normally refer to as what? Consolidation. You see, this is all about what? Consolidation. Group accounting. Consolidation. These are all about what? Group accounting. So that is what we'll be covering in topic number 5. And for sure, we know very well that there's always a 99.5% chance that this question will always come. A question in consolidation. For the purpose of our exams, you'll find that there's a 99.5% chance that this question will always be tested. Question in relation to what? Consolidation. So make sure that you have it very well and very clearly. We say we only have what? We only have 7 topics. And Mwalimu will give us the strategy on how we'll be looking at all these topics. So that should take us to topic number 6. And what will you be expected to cover in topic number 6? These are very uncommon area, not unless you're tested of a theory. These are public sector accounting standards. Public sector accounting standards. Public sector accounting standards is our topic number 6. So these are majorly more to do with the public sector accounting. And at this point, of course, these are where we'll be required to understand the concept of IPSAS and various standards that governs, of course, public sector accounting. So many times, of course, we have been looking at the component of the theory part, but you'll find that of late, there's always a concept tested when it comes to computation in relation to this topic. So also making it one of the slippery topics that we must make sure that you're able to understand each and every concept here. So topic number 6 will mark the end of our reporting part. Topic number 6 will mark the end of the reporting part because we see that we have 2 segments. The segment of reporting and the segment of analysis. So segment number 2, this is about financial analysis. Financial analysis. These are part 2 of the question, of course, of the syllabus, financial analysis. And financial analysis at this point, of course, we will be expected to handle or to cover only one topic. And this topic that you'll be expected to understand here is all about what? Topic number 7. So what will you be expected to understand in topic number 7? It is more about analyzing financial statements. Talk about analyzing financial statements. Analyzing financial statements. These are topic number what? Topic number 7. Analyzing financial statements is what will be expected, of course, to cover at this point, topic number 7. So when you are talking about financial reporting and analysis, my good students, this is the picture that you should be having. This is the picture that you should be having anytime you are talking about what? Financial reporting and analysis. The 2 parts, the first part is the aspect of financial reporting. The other part is on the aspect of financial analysis. And financial analysis only, we will be looking at topic number 7. Topic number 7. So mentioning that, we've already dived into this lake, into this ocean. So we must start swimming. We must start swimming, yeah? We must start swimming. This will be our strategy. This will be our strategy when we'll be looking at financial reporting. This will be your strategy, my good students. And where you feel you're having a question, as you mentioned, always tend to ask, because I'll always want the class to be very engaging as much as possible. Don't allow Mwalimu to proceed to the next concept not unless you've understood the concept right. That has always and will always be our policy. That when we are in class, don't allow Mwalimu to proceed to the next concept not unless you've understood the concept very well. Because we've said we are learning. We are learning, right? We are learning. So this is strategy. Number 1, we'll always start with analysis. This will be your number 1 part. We'll always start with analysis. The analysis part will contain 2 components. That is the aspect of ratio analysis. It will contain ratio analysis. And number 2, the aspect of common size financial statements. Common size financial statements. This is what, of course, this part will contain. The aspects of 2 parts, ratio analysis and common size financial statements. So these are where we're going to start. After we're through with this, we jump to topic number 1. So this will be your number 2. That will be your number 2. This is number 1. Once you are through with that, of course, that will take us to topic number 2, because this one is not, of course, that wide. So this should take us to, this will be your number 3 to cover. That will be your number 3 to cover. Once you're through with that, we are going to jump to topic number 4. This will be your number 4. Because they do relate, so we jump to topic number 5, consolidation. Then we come to this part. This will be your number 6. That will be your number 6. After we are through with that, that is when you're going to clear now with what? Topic number 6, which is all about what? Public sector. So our strategy, and we are going to start today actually, our strategy will be for us to look at it in this manner. We start with the financial analysis part, then we jump to the financial reporting part. Under the financial reporting part, these are what we are going to look at based on the numbering, where we start with topic number 1. We won't follow the syllabus as it is, no, because this strategy has always worked, and it is also going to work this time round. It has always worked, and I also know this time round it will also work very well. So these are what you're going to do. These are what you're going to do, and I'm expecting us at least to have that in mind. So what would we be expected to understand when it comes to financial reporting as you're starting our first class today? As you're starting our first class today, what will you be expected to have in mind always? The balancing act. Balancing act is what will save us here a lot. Let Mwalimu explain this aspect of balancing act. I believe that you guys, you're done with this part. I strongly believe that you're done with this part. The balancing act, these are what Mwalimu is saying, that balancing act is what is going to save us here. Why? You'll find that nowadays, of course, there's always a mixture of theory, which theory will contain 30 to around 40%. And now the aspect of the computation part. So the computation part, of course, now we're looking at between 70 to 60%. See, we can literally agree that these 30% or 40%, these are marks that can take us places we've never seen before. These are marks that can take us places we've never seen before. 30%, cheza 30%, yeah? Even that 1% is very important. So when Mwalimu is talking about the balancing act, these are what I'll always want us to do. I'll always want us to balance the theory and the computation. Remember, fact be said, of course, we are planning to do exams in August. How many months are we looking at August? We pray to God to give us good health and life till August, right? So how many months are we looking at before August? Already, we are in mid-May. June, July, part of August. To be very optimistic, give ourselves 3 months. To be very, very optimistic, as I've always said that this is one of the shortest semesters that we normally tend to have. So to be optimistic, we give ourselves like 3 months. See? So within the 3 months, we are expected at least to have covered all this. And this is where Mwalimu will need our cooperation. Our cooperation in a sense that, of course, today, just after this class, I'm going to share all the questions and answers Fury Q&A. I'm going to share this immediately after this class in our group. How will this help us? This will help us in a sense that once we have it as a semester commences, you'll find that it will give us good time. As we are doing all this computation part, you'll find that we'll also be getting time to go through the theory. And the most beautiful part is that a file theory, many a times, it is always recycled. Why? If at all standards are to change, of course, very few areas will be amended. So if you're asked of advantages of leaseback, it will never change. The same question that they asked probably last time is the same question they're going to ask this time. You see? Maybe you're asked of maybe to explain probably the importance of maybe ratio analysis in the business. It will never change. It is just the same. Whatever that they asked probably last time is exactly the same thing they're going to ask this time. That's the most beautiful part, right? So that's why Mwalimu is insisting that immediately after this class, I'm going to share this document. We have it from the word go. We start going through this document from the word go. From the word go. Yeah? So this is what you're going to have. So let us learn about what? The balancing act. It will help us a lot. It will help us a lot. That one, I'm very sure that it will help us a lot. So once we have this strategy, I'll expect this from you. This is what Mwalimu is going to expect from us. I will always ask you questions, guys. I will always ask you questions. And make sure that whenever I've asked you a question, make sure that you do what? You answer. Why? The reason why I normally encourage conversation in class is because I want us to always have confidence speaking before people. You know, it is always that notion that accountants are always very silent at the back office. Forgetting that the soft skill, which you're terming it as public speaking, this is one thing that can take you places you've never seen before. We have so many accountants. What will make you different? Some of the soft skills. Yeah? In this case, the reason why I always encourage that each one of us, even if I ask you a question, even if you don't know, just say that wrong answer. That's why we are in class. If I want to ask you a question, I don't expect an answer like I don't know. Mwalimu will not expect that answer. If you have asked you a question and you say don't know, that is off the topic. Just say that wrong answer, you will be corrected. Not unless you are in a very noisy place and I'll ask you a question where you can't communicate. That is when you just chat and say, Mwalimu, I'm in a noisy place, so I won't be able to unmute. But don't use that as an excuse to help us only. Always try as much as possible to do what? To answer, because I know very well it's going to build your confidence. It's going to build your confidence. Yeah, it's going to build your confidence. And as you're doing this, I know there is program that majority of you don't know. There is program that majority of you don't know. There is aspect of what ISPAC and CASNEB are doing right now, right? This program is called TAPEF. Trainee Accountant Practical Experience Framework. The reason why I'm saying it is not just about exams, some of this reason is this more of skill. So training accountants practical experience framework works like this. You are in intermediate right now. You don't have probably maybe some or majority, they don't have practical skills. You don't have experience. You're just doing these things because you're doing for exams. And that's why Mwalimu says that we are shifting that mentality completely. So this TAPEF, what it does, it has mentors and supervisors. It has mentors and supervisors. So when you join at this point, you'll find that towards your training, of course, with the mentor that you have selected, you'd always be introduced to the practical skills, whereby probably I'm having some work of taxation. I want to engage one of my mentee. Depending on your cooperation, I give you a task to try to do as I guide you. Literally, you're being engaged on what you normally tend to do in practice. So that by the time you clear your advanced level, you're not like all other CPAs or accountants who all the process, it is always about theory. You'll find that a person is in advanced level clearing the paper of BDA, and this person doesn't have even a single skill, which is very bad. You are clearing CPA and you don't have a single skill. You can't even file VAT. You can't even file your payee. This is what TAPEF does. So at this point, of course, I'll share that link in the group. I'm one of the mentors. They are roughly like almost in Kenya right now, we're having roughly like 500 or 400 mentors. So if you go to this point, you just select the you want to be under who. There are so many, there are mentors there or supervisors. So you select a specific supervisor that you want to be under. So this supervisor, of course, will be guiding you on a step-by-step basis so that when you are studying, you are also gaining what? Practical experience. I'll share that link in the group. For those who are interested, make sure that at least you select a supervisor. I'm one of the supervisors there. There are so many other supervisors. So you select the one that you feel comfortable with, right? And in that case, you'll be guided. So it will just be doing for the purpose of just doing exams, but it is more of skills. You earn skills as you learn. You earn skills as you learn. So that is the mentality that I want us to have as you're starting. We say that we are simply doing this for the case of what? For the case of knowledge. Because the moment you have the knowledge right, then exams will be very, very easy. Exams will be very, very easy. Higher. Up to that point, before we start, is there any question that one would want to ask Mwalimu? Any question that you want to ask Mwalimu, then this is the right time to ask that question. If at all you feel you're having any question that you want to ask Mwalimu, then this is the right time to ask the question. Any question? Maina, any question?
No question.
Great. Carol, tuko na swali. Any question?
At the moment, no, but I wanted to know, would you know how the previous class performed?
The results have not been released, right?
Okay.
Yeah, sure. But I know before 20th, guys will be receiving their results. Vivo, mtu ameingia na Vivo V2. Kindly next time join with your name. Vivo, talk to us. Any question? Imelda, any question? Imelda. Oh, guys, you can always unmute. Of course, you can always unmute.
None at the
Anne?
moment, but
Yes, Imelda?
none at the moment, but I'm okay.
Ah, great.
And glad to have joined.
Great, great. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Anne, any question? Anne?
No question.
Great.
I'm okay.
Great. I can see one has joined with iPhone. Next time we join with our name, iPhone. Any question?
No question. My name is Halima Saif.
Oh, Halima, next time we join with our name, we join with our name, right?
All right, sir.
Great. So after looking at this overview, then I want us to start this journey. As we've said, we're going to start with financial analysis, and that is topic number 7, analyzing financial statements. So straight away, this is what I want us to start with. We are starting with the analysis part. And here, of course, we are talking about analyzing financial statements. Analyzing financial statements. Analyzing financial statements. Analyzing financial statements. Where we see that at this point, we normally tend to cover 2 parts. That is, of course, the aspect of ratio analysis and common size financial statements. So you see at this point, we'll be expected to cover the concept of ratio analysis. And number 2, we have common size financial statements. Common size financial statements. Okay? So these are the 2 components that will be expected to cover under the analysis. And when we're looking at our analysis, we find that the whole aspect is for us to measure or for us to look at the performance, whereby we will be
Sorry, Mwalimu, we can't hear you.
now should be okay, great. So you're saying that at this point, whenever we'll be looking at financial analysis, it is more to do with performance, whereby we're looking at the performance of these 2 periods, so that we should be able to identify if at all the company is improving or not. See? So that is what will be expected majorly to cover under these concepts of analysis. So to this point or now, I want us to start with the second segment of analysis, which we are referring to as a common size financial statements. Common size financial statements, that is what I want us to start with. That is analyzing financial statements using what? Common size. So we jump to this point. We start with common size financial statements. That is, we want to analyze our financial statement using what? Using common size. So here we read about what? Common size approach for analyzing our financial statement using what? Common size. Common size financial statements, analyzing our financials using a common size approach. Using common size approach, yeah, common size. We have that first, common size approach. common size. So my users will find that one of the most important elements to understand with common size is that this is the easiest concept that you'll ever have in your analysis. Why? Take a look. At this point, I know all of us, we must have seen income statement, or we must have seen a statement of financial position somewhere. So what we are doing in this journey is that the way we normally tend to prepare our income statement, say for example, if at all you check your income statement, you'll always be having, say, like your sales here. You see, you have your cost of sales, you have your gross profit at this point, and the gross profit then, of course, you less, let us take some figures. Let us take, say, like 2 million, for example. Maybe you have 1.5 here. Gross profit, maybe you have the 500,000. On this other hand, probably read about expenses. So for expenses, maybe read about admin. Admin, maybe you have, say, like 100,000. Selling and distribution, you say we have like 50,000. So my good students will find that in this case, we are doing this in terms of values. So what common size will do differently is that I will be presenting our financial statements, but we will not be using our values. Instead, we'll be using what? Percentages. You see, I'll be using percentage. I'll be using the percentages here to prepare our financial statements. And these percentages will purely be based on a certain base. So in other words, what Mwalimu is trying to say is that when we are doing common size, the whole idea is to simply come up with our income statement or a statement of financial position, but specifically, we will be using what? We are preparing them in form of percentages, but not values. See, that is the main concept that you need to understand in common size, and you're good to go. Just know that anytime you're preparing your financial statements, the whole idea is to present our books in form of percentages and not values. Only that. There's nothing more that we need to maybe make it so complicated. It is only that. We need to understand that, at this point, we need to prepare our financial statements in form of percentages. We have something introducing this case. We cannot say, I want us to introduce this bit very briefly. We can mention and say that common sense financial statements are financial statements in which each item, common size financial statements, are financial statements in which each item is expressed. Common size financial statements are financial statements in which each item is expressed, as a percentage of a base amount. Common size financial statements are financial statements in which each item is expressed as a percentage of a base amount, That is to say, for example, if we are talking about income statement, if you're talking about the income statement here, you'll find that our income statement will contain, for income statement, the base amount to compare with will be what? The base amount is sales, whereas under statement of financial position, statement of financial position, statement of financial position, the base amount is total assets. See? So we say that the whole idea is that what we want to achieve is to prepare our financial statements. And doing this, we want to prepare our financial statement in form of percentages. And this percentage will be based on a particular item. When we are talking about our income statement, this base item that I'm going to use will be what? The sales. And when you're talking about statement of financial position, the base item that you're going to use is what? Is a total assets. So that as at the end of the day, I'll be able to come up with what? I'll be able to come up with our common size. And many a times, in this case, you'll find that we'll be looking at the types of common size. Types of common size, financial statements. We normally tend to have two main. The first that it is very common, which you normally tend to use a lot, this is a vertical common size financial statement. Vertical common size financial statement, yeah. So you're saying that really about the vertical common size financial statement. And number two here, we normally tend to talk about what? Horizontal common size financial statements. See? So these are the two forms of common size that we normally tend to talk about. That is the vertical common size financial statements. And number two, the horizontal common size financial statements. So these are the two items. Horizontal, many a times, always referred to as cross-sectional analysis. Cross-sectional analysis, or some will refer to this as what? Trend analysis. That is horizontal. See? So these are the types of common size that we normally tend to talk about. We have the vertical common size financial statements, and we have the horizontal common size financial statement. And Mwalimu is saying that many a times horizontal can also be referred to as what? The cross-sectional or trend analysis. Cross-sectional or trend analysis. So we have that. We have that very fast. And where you're having a question, you said, you ask. Where you're having a question, you said, you ask. Where you're having a question, make sure you do what you ask. Okay. So as Mwalimu is saying that many a times on this case, you find that we'll always be looking at these two main. And when you see the examiner has asked you to determine the common size without specifying, we'll always use what? The vertical common size. And the vertical common size is what we have explained, where we focus on one base to determine the percentage of each item that we normally tend to have. Whatever that we've explained, that is what we've done, or what we've done in terms of common size. whereby the vertical component, whereby in this case we use what? A base. We use one base. Yeah, we use one base. We use one base. We use one base, whereby you'll find that each, of course, in this case, each item in a single financial statement is expressed as a percentage of what? Of a base figure, which is a base amount. So this is vertical. And that is what Mwalimu was explained when we were introducing the concept of what? Common size. So we use a particular base to determine these percentages, yeah? And when you're talking about horizontal now is different. And we're going to consider that when you reach there. So right now, I want us all to jump to our questions. Remember, right now, I believe we have that bit, yeah? We have the question paper that Mwalimu shared in our group. We have the question paper that Mwalimu shared in our group. We have the question paper that Mwalimu shared in our group. I want us all to go to that part. There's a question, the question paper Mwalimu shared in the group. So let me get that part specifically. It was not tested long ago. It was just the other day. 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 Confirm that we all have our past papers, right? Confirm that we all have the past paper. Confirm that we all have the past paper. Someone can reshare the group for those who have joined us after we had shared. So I want us all to go to this very good question, which will help us to understand this concept clearly. And this was a question that was tested not that long ago. Check December 2024. Check December 2024. Check December 2024. Question number 5. Question number 5. Question number 5, part C. Let us all go to that part. Make sure that you are all there. I'm sharing the question in our screen so that I show you how easy common size concept is. So this is our question number 5, part C. Question number 5, part C. So these are what you're told that Baraka Limited is a private limited company that operates in the hospitality industry. The following statements of financial position have been extracted from the accounting records of the company for analysis purposes. You're told the statement of financial position, these are what you're given. assets, non-current and current, equity and liabilities, non-current liabilities, current liabilities required. Prepare a common size vertical statements for financial position as at 31st of August 2023 and 31st August 2024. See how many marks you're given, honestly. You're given 12 good marks. If at all this examiner didn't want you to pass, alikuwa anataka nini? See? This case that is to show that this examiner wanted you to pass, of course, this paper very easily. Let us start working. And you'll agree with Mwalimu that it is more of copying and pasting. You'll agree with Mwalimu that it is more of copying and pasting. So long as you've understood the concept, you're not supposed to struggle at all, at all, at all. I'll do for 2024, you'll do for 2023. I'll do for 2024, you'll do for 2023. So, common size, our task is copying and pasting. Common size, our task is copying and pasting. So, of course, important to have the title. That is this company, we had it as Baraka. So, Baraka Limited. Baraka Limited. Common size. Statement of financial position. Baraka Limited. Common size. Statement of financial position. Yeah. For the period given, we have 2024 and we have 2023. We say that Mwalimu is going to do for 2024 only, and you realize that it is very easy. So we start copy pasting, whereby I'm having our assets here. Under the assets you're given, PPE 23,760. You're given intangible assets here. $16,720. 40,480. Current assets. For current assets, you're given inventories. Inventories 20 to 40. Trade receivables. $17,600. Cash and cash equivalents. I'm just copying exactly the way it is without changing anything. Cash and cash equivalents, 9680. Total, you are given 88,000. That is our total assets. We have equity and liabilities. Equity and liabilities. I'm just copy pasting exactly the way it is. Ordinary shares, you are given 17,600. Share premium, I'm given 1760. Retained profit, I'm given 15,840. Total 35,200. Another part here, of course, this is non-current liabilities. Non-current liabilities. We are given long-term loans, which the good examiner has given us a value of 14,080. We are given deferred tax, our good examiner here has given us 7040. Current liabilities here, so that we're given our current liabilities. So I'm just copy pasting exactly what you're given. So current liabilities, we have our trade payables. Which were given 1840. And we have our current tax, which were given 13,200. So total we are given 88,000. Total equity and liabilities. Total equity and liabilities. So my good sense, I want you to observe this very well. We say that our task here is very easy. Using common size, our task here is very, very easy. And why are we saying that our task is very easy? So my common size statement of financial position, I need to express these details in form of percentage. And because we are dealing with statement of financial position, our total assets will be our base. See? So if I want my PPE, we are going to take 23,760 divide by 88,000 here times 100. Remember, we want it into percentage. You want it into percentage, yeah? So remember, this is into percentage. Intangible asset, the same case, 16,720 divided by the total assets, which is 88,000 times 100. So we are going to do that for all these financial position items. We're going to do this for all these statement of financial position items. So we do that. Let me take my calc. Yeah, we do this for all these items. We do this for all these items that we have. So like the first case PPE, we're having 23,760 divided by 88,000 times 100, that should give us 27%. 16,720 divided by 88,000 times 100, that should give us 19%. 4480 divided by 88,000, that should give us 46%. We come to our inventories. 20 to 40 divided by 88,000, that should give us 23%. 17,600 divided by 88,000, that should give us, of course, 20%. 9680 divided by 88,000, that should give us 11%. This one, of course, is 100%. You see? We go to ordinary shares. 17,600 divided by 88,000 times 100, that should give us 20%. 1760 divided by 88,000 times 100, that should give us, of course, 2%. 15,840 divided by 88,000 times 100, this should give us 18%. Okay. 35,200 divided by 88,000 times 100, that should give us 40%. Make sure that you're computing so that Olumu should not be writing his own things. 14,080 divided by 88,000, that should give us 16%. 7040 divided by 88,000 times 100, this should give us 8%. 18,840 divided by 88,000, this should give us by 100, give us 21.4%. That is 18,840 to give us like 21.41%. 13,200 divided by 88,000 times 100, that should give us like 15%. And this should give us like this one you can take 21% so that you avoid the decimal places. This should give us 100%. See? So whatever that you're doing here, it is simply presenting our financial statements in form of percentages. See? We are presenting our financial statements in form of percentage. So this area of representing or presenting our statements in form of a percentage is what you're referring to as common size. It's what you're referring to as common size. It's what you're referring to as common size. Imagine, there is nothing difficult there. We can all agree, we can all agree that once you have the concept right, the other things is just flowing. There's nothing complicated that you can say that, this is complicated. And I know you can agree with Mwalimu. I know you can agree with Mwalimu on that case. That there's nothing complicated here. It's just a matter of us getting it right. There's nothing complicated at this point. So I want you to do for, of course, the other year. Same concept applies. For 2023, same concept applies, same concept applies, same concept applies. I want you to do for 2023, same concept applies. You can all agree that, at this point, it's just concept. Yeah? It's just concept. It's just concept. We can't say that there's something complicated. No. It's just about understanding the concept right. And if you get the concept right, the rest is just walk on the park. And you can all agree. We can all agree. So I want you to do for that part. And also, you check December 2021. You check December 2021. December 2021. December 2021. Question number 5. December 2021, question number 5. December 2021, question number 5. December 2021, question number 5. So I want you to check the 2 questions, except for horizontal analysis. You're going to do horizontal together. We're going to do horizontal analysis. You see that we have 2 types. That is, of course, vertical and horizontal. So we're going to do horizontal together. So for now, clear that part. Any question, guys? This is our first class. I wouldn't want to keep you that long. Any question? Great. Remember our classes for the FAR, just as our timetable, our classes for FAR, Mondays and Tuesdays. Of course, expected time should be 8:20 p.m. The class normally supposed to go up to around 10 thereabout, up to around 10 p.m. But at times, of course, the class will always tend to exceed up to almost around 10:15 thereabouts, right? In addition to the normal classes, always be ready that Mwalimu at times will always request us to have more sessions. So if at all you are called upon to attend a class, just avail yourself, because the class or the communication will always be done early in advance. Say, for example, maybe I want to book an extra session, say within the week. We plan as the week starts. Then in that case, of course, we agree based on our availability. If at all we'll all be available or we form a quorum, then we will be setting the class. But majorly, this is, of course, our timing. So don't confuse that maybe at Tuesday is 10. We're saying that this is 8 to 10 p.m. The same case with Tuesdays, around 8:20 p.m. to 10 p.m. But this 10 p.m., remember, we said it can exceed. I can see Carol has raised a hand. Yes, Carol?
Thank you for the presentation. I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
The question is from the whatever these past papers, it is saying prepare common size vertical statement of financial position as at that date. The presentation that you have done on the whiteboard, when you're answering the question on your question paper, do you include these figures, or you just come with the percentages?
Do you include what? These figures? Yeah, it is good to include, because this is what is forming this percentage. So if I told you just write percentage only, I'm going to assume that you use microscopic eyes. Yeah, you looked, you kind of you giraffe yourself to your neighbor from your neighbor, right? So it is good to present this. Okay.
Okay.
Great. Great. Any other question? Great. You guys make sure that you've done that assignment. And yes, Vivo has raised a hand. Yes, Vivo, kindly go ahead.
My name is Benita. I was asking, mine is rather a request. I would request you to like put the recordings up like the way you did for this lesson one, because if you come to class, it becomes easy if you've already gone through the notes and the recordings. So I would request you to maybe be sending the recordings earlier so that you will join already like familiar with the topic and everything.
Which you should be having access. Say for example, like let me show you. All of us, we must be having access, of course, to this. Make sure that you have, of course, access to your account. Let me just show you something here very, very fast. You see, when you've logged in to your account, which I believe all of you have your accounts. See, you come to, of course, you search CPA, get started, start learning. We are looking at, of course, FAR, where this is a FAR. Okay. So you realize that under this case, of course, the classes for this semester will be recorded here. Like this was for the classes for last semester, where we have, of course, the live recorded classes for semester one. Your end, from tomorrow, you're going to see live recorded semester two. Like today we have lesson one, so you are going to see lesson one. So maybe in the event that you want to study in advance, if you scroll to your account, below, we have classes which are, of course, as per the topic. So maybe tomorrow, say, like we say that we are continuing with this part, you can take that chance and see these classes in advance. There is topic number 7, where today we started with analyzing financial statements. See, the classes for this component, they are here, like understanding the whole concept of common size. Like this is a portion which was done in August 2022. You see, you can go ahead and start or look at the questions and the concept. Maybe you want to do ratio analysis next time. You can go in advance, check ratio analysis. These are the classes for ratio analysis. You can use the classes in advance so that when I come to class, probably you want to study ratio, already, you have already done what? You'll have already gone through the classes. So as we've said, there are 2 sets of recorded version. The first set is for you to get the ongoing classes for the current semester, which you're going to access under this segment. Live recorded classes, your case will be semester 2. Then for studying in advance, maybe you want to study, say, like topic number 5 in advance. The classes are there. You just go to topic number 5. You want to study consolidation. All the classes are there. All the classes, whatever that we'll be doing, they are there. So many videos. So that when we are in class, at least you've already gone through what? You'll have already gone through what? Through the class. You'll have already gone through the class. If at all you want to download the class to watch later, there's an area of downloading here, which it will be downloading on the background. Or if at all you want to see how it is downloading, you just right click, you save your video as. Then you're going to select where you want to save your video and you'll be good to go. So these are segments that you can access. In addition to the same, you'll find that there are these notes as well. There are these notes which you can get in advance. Say you want all the notes for all the topics all at once. You just come under the class notes here. Notes, you can do what? You can come and download the notes so that maybe you want to study in advance using the notes only. You can take that advantage. You can go through the notes. You want, say, like maybe the revision companion. These are literally question and answers. This should be up to August 2024. Up to August 2024, you just come, the same case, you download you get this revision companion. It should be August 2024, not 2023. You get all this in advance. See, that is, of course, another area. The other area is that the past papers. So the past papers I've shared in the group. The past papers, of course, also should be updated up to April 2025. So literally, you have everything. You have everything, which you can go through the same and have it right. Is that okay?
Okay, thank you.
Great, great. So you guys have a very good night. Of course, see you tomorrow, good evening.